It's the man YSN, and you're listening to YSN Radio. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I know what time it is, man. You're rocking with the man YSN, and you're tuning into the episode of YSN Radio, the coolest podcast in the South, man. Back in here with another episode. It's been a couple weeks. Been a lot of personal life stuff going on. If you watched the new vlog that came out, I think the week before last, I had a death in the family. Just started a new job, so I've been getting everything worked out with that, man. But back on track, back on schedule, man, and ready to get yapping. Ready to get yapping, man. And honestly, bro, I feel like it was kind of good to let a week pass because a lot of stuff happened within the last week. You know, a lot happened within the last week, man. And it's definitely time to talk about it, bro. Definitely time to talk about it. First and foremost, has been the main thing, the only thing happening in the hip-hop world right now. Young Thug. Oh, my gosh. Olympus has fallen. Jeez Louise, man. So a couple weeks ago, I had talked about how, since Young Thug got out of prison, beat the Rico, he's pretty much just been hating on Gunna this entire time. You know, Gunna just dropped the last one, that album. It's been doing crazy numbers. Gunna's out here starting run clubs, damn commercials, all type of shit. Gunna's doing his thing, and all Young Thug has been doing is hating on him from the sidelines, calling him all types of rats. His whole anti-snitch campaign is just crazy shit, bro. And then, to the surprise of literally everyone, a 2-hour long interrogation with Young Thug leaks of him spilling the beans on this guy Pee Wee Roscoe. Now, just to rewind this a little bit, back in 2015, when Lil Wayne was going through it with Birdman and that whole beef was going on, Lil Wayne was down here in Atlanta for a show, and his tour bus had got shot up. And it turned out that the nigga who shot it up was actually somebody who ran in the same circle as Young Thug, that whole thing. He ends up getting locked up, going to jail for it, does time. And the interrogation audio leaks of Young Thug pretty much snitching on a nigga. And it pretty much, once that went live, the internet was in shambles. Everybody started pointing fingers like, how are you calling Gunna a rat? And this is what you doing, boom, boom, boom. This whole thing, everybody's going back and forth. And then, on top of all that, all these leaked phone calls started coming out. Young Thug is talking crazy about literally everyone. Glorilla, Drake, Gunna, of course, Lil Baby. And just a whole bunch of crazy shit is happening, man. And it's so wild because it's like within a matter of a week. Like I was saying on the last episode when I was talking about this, you know, he was definitely trending in the direction of falling off. People are getting tired of the no music, all the comments, all the slick shots, all that shit, man, the tweets. This is almost pretty much like the final nail in the coffin. You've been doing this whole anti-snitching campaign. This interrogation audio gets leaked. And then all the phone calls get leaked, man. And it's like the court of public opinion has just been raining down on Thug. And it just started this entire like the snitch Olympics almost. Amongst all these Atlanta rappers, man. Rollo got involved. They're going back and forth. Everybody's talking about who snitched and who didn't. And just crazy. Just crazy all around, man. Just crazy all around. And it really just brings me back to a point that I made on the podcast months and months ago. If there was any time to be a sidewalk nigga, it's now. It is now. If this is not sidewalk nigga at like the best sidewalk nigga promotion there possibly could be, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. For years and years and years, niggas been telling you that the streets is dead. All that street shit is not cool. This is prime example of why it is A-okay to be a sidewalk nigga. All the niggas that has been preaching the street life and not necessarily glorifying it, well, glorifying it to an extent, but like this is prime example why being on the sidewalk is not that bad. Look at what you got to deal with as a street nigga. Look at what you got to deal with as a street nigga. I ain't gonna lie. Being a sidewalk nigga is where it's at. And this could not solidify that anymore. Especially, so the interview Young Thug just did with Big Bank. Big Bank is, of course, on a big part of the Big Facts podcast. Super well-respected figure in the Atlanta rap community, man. So Young Thug does like a 3-hour interview with Big Bank talking about the entire situation, man. And I really like the interview, bro. I think Big Bank did a really great job. He pretty much told him, he was like, you've been bullshitting since you got out of prison. You get out and pretty much told him about himself, man. You've been doing all these tweets and talking all this shit, man. You ain't been dropping no music, bro. You look crazy. You fucking up. You know what I mean? And I think it was, hats off to Bank for keeping it real with him, because pretty much been saying exactly what all the fans been saying. Like, what the hell? You feel me? And played devil's advocate a lot. Talking about, standing up for Gunna in the whole situation, man. Telling, it's pretty much like not being a dick rider, not being a yes man. You feel me? Which I feel like a lot of times, especially like when rappers get to a certain level, they got a lot of people around them disagreeing with them and everything that they're doing, man. And I feel like Bank was serving as like, hey, I'm your guy, but you've been fucking up, man. But he also gave Thug the floor to explain himself on a lot of different things, man, especially with the phone calls. He's been in on those phone calls, like I said, he was talking about everybody, bro. Future, Glorilla, everybody was catching strays on those phone calls, man. And Thug's whole reason behind the phone calls was like, I was locked up for 900 days. I had some shit, like, I'm in here going crazy, man. And so, like, I don't know. I've never been to jail before, so I really don't know how that feels. You know what I mean? But I can only imagine you're locked up 23-1 every day and you finally get a chance to talk on the phone to somebody on the outside world. You're going to give your opinions. You feel me? You're going to give your opinions. You're going to talk your shit because, like, this is your connection to freedom, although it's, it's on the phone, man. But, so he spoke his piece on that. And he also talked about how he felt betrayed for Gunna giving that plea, taking the plea and getting out early. His whole thing was, he sacrificed so much for him. He gave him his entire career, said that he created him. And it was kind of funny. He said, I created you. Well, God did, but I helped. You know what I mean? Like, his whole thing was like, he put money in Gunna's pockets. He changed his life. Bought him all these cars, houses, and all this shit, man. And what got me, he was like, we supposed to ride out to the end. If we get life in prison, whoop-de-doo. If we get life in prison, whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. That statement alone just made me so happy that I'm not a street nigga. Look, once again, look what they got to deal with. If we do life in prison, whoop-de-doo, I'd have took a plea too, nigga. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? I got to do life in prison to prove my loyalty? No. No. This is this is prime example of why not everybody is built for the streets, man. There's no way that I'm taking a life sentence. There's no way, especially look once again, go and look at the indictment. Nigga, it's 50 murders on here. It's 50 murders on here. All they caught me with was having some weed in the car. And I got to do life in prison? No. Absolutely not. Get me out of here. I'm sorry. I ain't gonna lie. That whoop-de-doo line, if I was gonna, that whoop-de-doo line, I'd have just been like, you see? You see? You see? I'm supposed to throw my life away. This nigga talking about some whoop-de-doo. Hell no. Absolutely not, bro. Absolutely not, man. But I think there's something a little bit deeper here. There's got to be something deeper here, man, because everybody gets off. the RICO, especially when it comes to like the feds and a RICO case, those are pretty much unbeatable. They don't take those cases unless they got all the evidence. Pretty much you did it. You feel me? And of course, most of them got off, pled out. And so I feel like since that they couldn't beat him in a court of law, they're going to beat him in the court of public opinion. Because a lot of times, especially in cases when we're talking about celebrities, especially rappers, court of public opinion is much, much worse. Give or take. Of course, you go to prison. If he was to get found guilty, he goes to prison for the rest of your life. That sucks. It's fucking horrible. But the court of public opinion, if people not fucking with you, not getting booked for no shows, nobody's buying your tour merch, none of that, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's so many rappers that make great music, but the court of public opinion has just done away with them. They're fighting for scraps at this point, you know what I mean? So, like, and everyone's talking about, oh, well, who's leaking the calls? These are jail calls. The police are leaking them. Apparently, like, Georgia, I guess, is a freedom of information state. So like a lot of stuff is public record. You just go, I don't know how you get access to jail calls, but if these are jail calls, the jails are leaking them. And it's just crazy how like they are getting leaked in such systematic fashion. Like it would seem like every single day a new call was getting leaked of him talking about somebody else. Somebody new was getting addressed in each call. A new situation was getting addressed in every single call. So it seemed like it was like some order put to it. Like they did it on purpose for this exact reason, to get people to turn against Young Thug. Because like I said on the last episode, it was trending in that direction anyway. It was trending in that direction. So, and what better way to drive it on home than to leak all this shit? There's so much damning audio that's like as we see, sure to turn the public opinion against Thug more than it already has. And it just brings me to question, how does he come back from this? Can he come back from this? Can Young Thug come back from this? He's already dug himself in the hole before all this shit got leaked. Before all this happened, he was already digging himself in the hole with all the tweets, all the comments, and just the lack of music being dropped. After all this, is there any way he can come back and get himself back to the level that he was at prior to the RICO case? He dropped that song where he addressed the entire situation. It was all right, you know what I mean? But like, will this album that he drops, will like what is it going to take for Young Thug to get back to the level he was at prior to the case? Gunna is on the moon right now. Is there a world where they can both coexist musically without clashing anymore? What do you think? I don't know. Whoop-de-doo is crazy. Whoop-de-doo is absolutely crazy, man. But moving on, this weekend, the Vols are taking on Georgia. And it's going to be a fantastic game. I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to see it. And it's kind of cool because these last two games, we have been playing amazing. Granted, the first game against Stanford, I wasn't able to watch it live, but we did our thing. Big Orange ass whipping. Last week, last Saturday, we played ETSU, spanked them. Broke our all-time scoring record. It was like 72-12. Absolute dog walked them niggas, man. But, of course, it's ETSU. You're supposed to do that. It's ETSU. It's like a third world poverty school. Not the school. The program. ETSU is a fine school. I've been there plenty of times. Got plenty of friends that go there. The football program, though, let's be honest, man. They didn't stand a chance. They didn't stand a chance, man. Got absolutely murdered on the field, bro. Murdered on the field, man. But while we're enjoying all this success, Nico Iamaleava is stinking it up at UCLA. Absolutely stinking it up at UCLA. And I don't think anybody could be happier than Vol fans. Vol fans are totally reveling in this kid's downfall. And if you ask me, that's what he gets. That's what you get, my nigga. That you should have stayed. You should have stayed. Once again, you turned down $8 million to go back home for less money for a worse team. Now you're playing in front of 12 people every weekend, getting smacked in the face. Let's see this last game. Let me look up this last game UCLA did, because if I'm not mistaken, they have not won a single game all season. So let's see. So they lost to UNLV 23-30. And the season opener, they lost to Utah 43-10. Nico has been getting his ass whooped all season long at UCLA. Now let's look up some of his stats. Let's look up Nico's stats. Nico Iamaleala, because he's not been playing well. And that was the whole thing. It's like I think one of the things I had seen, his dad was saying that like they wanted a better O-line at UT. They needed a better O-line, and it was like, okay, granted, there was a lot of room for improvement to be made, but once again, you go to UCLA where the team is worse. Talk about an O-line. His stats as of right now, granted it's only been 2 games, 391, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Okay, now let's compare that to our new quarterback, Joey Aguilar, who came from UCLA. It was a swap. Joey came from UCLA. Nico came from UT, switched places. Now let's look at Joey Aguilar's stats at Tennessee. Mind just 2 games. Joey Aguilar, his season at UT, he has 535 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. If you ask me, Nico probably should have stayed. Man. The grass is not always greener. And plus, he was talking shit about the fan base, saying that, the fans of UCLA are much classier and all this extra bullshit, man. First off, stop it. Okay? I don't know, man. I think he should have stayed. Man. I think he should have stayed. I was one of the rare people that actually believed in Nico. Granted, like I said before, he definitely had things he could have improved on, but he was a freshman. Okay? He could have stayed and improved and gotten better. Instead, he ups and leaves when he doesn't get his way. I can't respect that. Man. Now, Joey Aguilar came from the same school that you're playing in now, doing fantastic. And he's enjoying it here. His parents, his mom, and his grandma's crying in the stands, seeing him enjoying this moment. If you read his story, he came from a JUCO, playing in front of 5,000 people. Now he's literally, like, the game this weekend is sold out. 100,000+ people. It's about to be in Neyland Stadium, man. It only leads me to one question. Joey's been playing really well these first 2 games, but once again, like I said, ETSU, you're supposed to kick their ass. It's ETSU. Stanford, come on now. Georgia, though. Georgia's been a thorn in our side for years. Usually, like, every time I look at our schedule, I always just give up for Georgia and Bama. Bama, they're not the same anymore. That's not even a threat to us anymore. But now I feel like Georgia is our only viable threat at the moment, if you ask me. You feel me? And this weekend is really going to put them to the test. Can Joey pull it off against Georgia this weekend? He's been having a really good 2 weeks as starting quarterback, but I really do think this weekend is going to be the ultimate test and separate him, man. Nico couldn't beat Georgia. He beat Bama, though. But Nico couldn't beat Georgia. And we haven't beat him since 2016 with Josh Dobbs, the Hail Mary pass. That video has been getting circulated so many times this week, man, as it rightfully should. But I feel like if Joey can pull off the win against Georgia this weekend, will that override everything Nico did in his first year at UT? What do you think? If Joey pulls off the win against Georgia on Saturday, will that put him above Nico as far as UT quarterbacks go? Nico only had one season with the Vols. This would be Joey's third game with the Vols. Will this audit, like, if he's able to pull the win off this weekend, man, how will that put him as far as like in the quarterback standing as Nico? Because as we see, Nico is having a very hard time in LA right now. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. As always, go Vols, baby. Down with the dogs. I can't wait. I do think we have a chance because if you think about it, Georgia has a new quarterback this year. I don't know his name, but Carson Beck jumped ship to Miami. Nico jumped ship to UCLA. So we're kind of in the same boat. You know, we lost our quarterback. We lost a lot of good players to the transfer portal. So we got a lot of new blood on the field. Georgia also lost their quarterback. Lost a lot of good players to jail. So we're both kind of in the same boat here. You know what I mean? And plus, last week, Georgia was struggling against Austin Peay. I think the game, let's look at the score of that game. Hold on. Let me look that up. It was 28-6. Georgia only was able to pull out 28 points against Austin Peay. That's a team, UT, we wipe our ass with Austin Peay. Let's look up Vols versus Austin Peay. I'm very certain we beat the dog shit out them when we played them. Last time. Let me look. Let's look up. Vols versus, okay, 13-30. When was that? I thought we played them last year. No, I guess not. Either way, they were struggling against Austin Peay. Either way, they were struggling against Austin Peay, man. It should not have been that close of a game. The point is, man, we're both in the same boat. We got new quarterbacks. So it's going to be a very interesting game, man. And I can't wait to see it. And I swear to God, bro, if we pull off, I got to be in Nashville Saturday. I'm doing a lupus walk for my late aunt who passed away earlier this year from lupus. And so, but if we pull off the win, I might just go to Knox a night early because, shameless plug real quick, I got to be in Knoxville Sunday for the vintage market. But if we pull off the win against Georgia, I got to go hang out, man. I got to. Oh, man. We'll see, though, man. Go Vols. Moving on, man, interesting development today. Crazy development today, man. So, Charlie Kirk was killed in Utah this afternoon, today, at a speaking event he was doing at a college campus. It was his first stop on his American Comeback speaking tour. The whole Prove Me Wrong debate series that he does. He planned this entire tour where he was going to go to different campuses and cities around the country and debate people on, you know, the conservative shit. I don't know if it... Me personally, if you're not familiar with Charlie Kirk, he's like a very polarizing... Well, he was a very polarizing... super conservative political activist and social media influencer at the end of the day. You know, he got online and he spoke a lot of right-wing talking points, a lot of inflammatory shit that he spewed, man. A lot of it was racist and just, it's out of pocket. Man. I never really watched a lot of his content, you know, but like, it doesn't take much. The stuff that I did see, man, is like, all right, man. I don't know. Like when it like all those right wing conservative people, like I feel like they definitely get on the internet and talk the shit that they do because they know it's gonna get people riled up and get people angry. And that rage bait really just means more money for them. It puts dollars in their pockets, man. And that's Charlie Kirk built his entire platform off of debating people and getting angry and getting people upset and owning them. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, he's doing his speaking engagement and literally sniper pops him in his neck. In the middle of him talking. It was like I don't know if you've seen the video. Shit's crazy, bro. Shit was absolutely crazy, man. And so, of course, the internet's been going crazy all day long about it, bro. And, once again, like I said, when Hulk Hogan passed, I'm not the person to get on here and celebrate when people die. I'll always think that's corny, man, no matter who it is, bro. But, like, I'll be remiss to ignore the irony in this situation. There was a clip of him talking about from another speaking engagement he was doing where he was talking about gun control, where he said that he's okay with gun deaths if it means keeping the Second Amendment. And I do find it very ironic that someone who publicly said that he's okay with people dying from gun violence if it means that we can keep our guns dying and ends up dying from gun violence. Popped in front of thousands of people. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy. And it matters even worse. Just like a day or two, he was on TV talking about how black people were just so violent and so inhumane and criminals and all this extra shit, man. And ends up getting popped by an old white man. Literally gets picked off by Larry David. He's talking all this shit about black people. I do think that is crazy. Very insane. The irony is off the charts here. But again, I don't want to see anybody getting murdered in front of a crowd of people is an awful way to go out. The man had a whole family. I don't want to see anyone get taken away from their kids. But the irony is crazy here. The irony is crazy. Now, there's a lot of people online, taking up for him and saying they're like, this shouldn't have happened and which, it shouldn't have happened. But like a lot of people are like, oh, hating someone for them having a different opinion is wrong. And I feel like with Charlie Kirk, when it comes to the whole thing about, people having a different opinion, I feel like the different opinion argument is only valid if we're talking about pineapple on pizza or music, or whether or not a movie was good. That's one thing. I could deal with that. Those are different opinions. I don't think the different opinion debate is valid when it comes to people's rights. People having rights, people deserving to die, black people, like anybody who thinks that I'm less of a human because of the color of my skin, that whole difference of opinion shit goes out the window, man. So I don't know, bro. Once again, crazy way to go out, but hey, it's all about energy, what you put out in the world. But it's definitely going to make for a very interesting time. It's definitely going to make for a very interesting time, especially online, man. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up on that note. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. Make sure you check out all the other episodes everywhere you stream your podcast from. If you're watching, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube jazz. Check out the vlog that's out right now with DJ Zari Ferrari. Very lovely Tom. And once again, follow all the social pages, Instagram, TikTok, YSN Radio. And follow my personal page, the new one, #1, Real YSN. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty short and sweet. Wasn't really much to talk about. In and out. Just got to get this content out, man. So thanks for listening. Once again, next time, same place as the coolest podcast in the South, YSN Radio. Let's go.